Ya, saat ini kami masih bersama dengan Presiden Direktur dari Nissan Motor Indonesia, Isao Sekiguchi. Now, Mr. Sekiguchi, moving on to more specific details. Nissan, earlier this year were one of the main manufacturers that introduced your best-selling electric vehicle worldwide, the Nissan Leaf, which is right behind of us. So the Nissan Leaf is equipped with e-power technology. So can you explain to us a little bit more about this technology and the specification of the car?
Yeah, so the Leaf, which was originally launched in 2010, and this is actually the second generation, which was launched in 2017. Currently, this second generation Leaf is sold over 50 countries globally. Also, the accumulated volume for the Leaf is over 400,000 units since we first launched the Leaf. So this car has been well accepted globally, and most importantly, there has been no fatal accident coming from the electricity. That's something that we are proud of, because it takes away a lot of concerns that people are simply driving the electric vehicle. And what it is that this generates no emission. So this is a zero emission, pure 100% EV. This is what the Leaf stands for, and this is what's coming to Indonesia next year. E-Power you mentioned about. E-Power is a different type of electric vehicle we have launched.
Okay.
So this is different from Leaf, but this is a different powertrain that we have, and also, excitingly, that we are also going to bring the e-power technology to Indonesia with a different model next year.
So what is the model called?
So it's still a bit too early to announce it.
So it's a secret for
but
now,
it's a secret for now. But what I can proudly announce is that we're going to have EV, which is the pure electric vehicle, which requires a charging station. We will have a new type of the electric vehicle called e-power, but this does not require a charging station.
So the car charges itself?
Well, the car, it runs with the electricity, but the electricity is generated by the motor, which is fueled by the gasoline. So it's a combination of the gasoline, but actual driving feeling, and the drive itself is the electricity. And we can probably share with you, because we have both of the cars outside for you to test drive.
Okay. I look forward.
Yeah, sure.
I look forward to that.
And one thing to note is that electric vehicle is really fun to drive. And the one thing that you will notice once you drive the car is the acceleration. This Leaf is at 300 to 320 meter, which is basically, this car is as fast as a 3.2 liter turbo engine. So it's quite difficult for people to imagine how the drive feeling will like, but electric vehicle offers a fast acceleration, which really makes you fun to drive. And this, I hope you have a chance this afternoon to try it.
Okay, I will, don't worry, I definitely will. Okay, now still regarding, the Nissan Leaf and also other electric vehicles by Nissan, what is the market share of Nissan's electric vehicle in a global scale?
In a global scale, I don't have the right number at this moment, I'll give you afterwards. But definitely, in terms of the volume, this more than 400,000 units since we launched the car is the most sold electric vehicle by one manufacturer.
Oh, so it's sold 400,000 units globally for the Nissan Leaf.
For the Nissan Leaf alone.
Okay. Now, we've been talking about how, exciting the Nissan Leaf is. So when will Indonesian consumers or customers be able to drive the Nissan Leaf home?
Well, one thing, and also I'm struggling on a daily basis, is the quality of the air and also the noise pollution. So both air pollution and noise pollution. Now with this Leaf, hopefully that gradually penetrate into the market of Jakarta, this car generates zero CO2. So one thing that we are trying to provide through Leaf is not just selling electric vehicle, but also to be part of the solution that some of the country faces or some of the cities face, including Jakarta, where how can we as a society, citizen, contribute to have a greener air, better environment for our kids, for the next generation, and most importantly for the sustainable society. So this is something that we are trying to be part of it. So not just bringing car and please buy our electric vehicle, but how can we work together as part of the solution, the way, changing the way we drive and also changing the way we live. And I think Leaf can be part of that solution.
Okay, that's really interesting, and I can definitely tell that all car manufacturers and also the government are working together to really launch the electric vehicle in Indonesia. It's something really exciting and amazing to see, isn't it? Okay. Now moving on to price, which I think that consumers would want to know the most. In Australia, the Nissan Leaf costs around 49,000 Australian dollars. So if you convert it to rupiah, it's going to be about 477 million rupiah. So will it be cheaper in Indonesia or will it be more expensive?
Well, when talk about this is connected with what you mentioned earlier about the incentives.
Yes.
And
the tax exemption.
Yeah, taxes, incentives. So as of this moment, we are still working on that. Mm-hmm. So how does the policy, and you mentioned about the tax exemption policy plays, but also is there going to be incentive to stimulate the customers to purchase? Still today in Japan, the government offers $5,000 incentive, 5,000 equivalent incentive
for every unit,
for buying an electric vehicle. Mm-hmm. So it depends on what kind of policies and what kind of incentives will play, and how can we transfer into the attractive price in terms of the customer transaction price. So to answer your question, we're still working on that. There's still lack of visibility in terms of what can we get in terms of what can customer get in a sense that buying an electric vehicle with a possible incentive going forward.
Okay, so how optimistic you are that this incentive and also the tax redemption will somehow boost consumers' interest to buy electric vehicle, or maybe to convert to electric vehicle from conventional cars?
Yeah, so definitely the price matters, but there are those people that are emotional about the electric vehicle, because honestly, again, once you sit in the car and try the car, there's a different kind of experience.
So it's a whole new level experience.
A whole new level of experience. So it really depends on how customer sees it. Some people think that he's an eco or she's an eco-friendly. It's about the ownership of having the electric vehicle, which makes a self-esteem. So it really depending on the customers who will take the car and how they see the car. But again, to have a breakthrough in terms of the volume, definitely there have to be the readiness, not only about the price, but also the readiness with the infrastructure.
Okay, so Nissan is still, waiting for such incentive to finally come out, yeah?
Absolutely, but we are not going to wait. Once the president signed a decree, it is very clear that what the country wants to do and how the country wants to transform. And we would like to be just part of that.
Okay, that's really great. Now moving on to production, we do know that Nissan produced your best-selling Nissan Livina here in Indonesia. So is there any plans in the future for Nissan to produce the Nissan Leaf in Indonesia?
Well, I've been asked a lot of questions about that.
Yes.
But it is too early stage on that, and we have nothing to share at this moment. But again, it really depends on how the market will transform going into the future. And we will see how the country's strategy and how the development of the EV going forward. And again, how can we part of that as a Nissan Motor in Indonesia?
Okay, just now you talk about transformation from maybe conventional cars to electric vehicles. So how optimistic you are that the consumers in Indonesia will actually accept the electric vehicle era?
Well, I think acceptance is there. I think one study shows that 41% of the people are very interested in buying EV, despite the fact that there are issues or let's say challenge with the readiness of the infrastructure. Mm-hmm. And so I am quite optimistic, and I think it's just a matter of the speed going forward. How quickly can we have those policies, incentives, infrastructures going forward? But definitely acceptance is quite high.
Now, moving on to, targets, we do know that the first quarter and the first semester of 2019, most automotive manufacturers recorded a decline in sales. What about Nissan?
Compared with last year, thanks to the new models, 4 new models that we have introduced in the last 8 months. So compared with last year, our volume is increasing. And thanks to a lot of fans of Nissan in this country, we were able to take that opportunity. But having said that, the total volume of the industry is slower than we anticipated. And also it's less, as you said, compared with last year. We just need to be carefully monitor how the market will further grow this year, given that there is a world global economy slowdown.
Yes.
Some of the prices of the export from Indonesia has dropped. So there's a lot of headwind in terms of the macro economy, and that is partially impacting the automotive industry in Indonesia this year.
Okay.
But if you look at the long run, definitely with a population of 260 million people, the average age is 29 only. So definitely there's a potential for Indonesia's automotive market to
Huge
grow.
markets, isn't
So
it?
we are not just looking in a short term. Definitely we are looking into the mid-long term, and that includes the deployment of the electric vehicle.
Okay, so how optimistic you are for the rest of 2019 and also for 2020 forward in terms of sales and also revenues of Nissan?
So for the short term, still the economy is strong here domestically, but with the improvement, I would say, from the macroeconomic factors, that will definitely help to stimulate the industry. So going forward, I would see somewhere not significant increase, maybe slight decrease this year or flat compared with last year. But definitely it will take some time to come back. But some analysts say that sooner that the market will come back. So let's see how that plays.
So, okay, so from Nissan point of view, it's just temporary. Yeah.
I would say so, yeah.
Okay. Now, maybe the last question. So, how optimistic you are that maybe one day electric vehicle will dominate the streets of Indonesia?
I'm quite optimistic. Again, the country has a huge potential. The automotive industry is strong, and what encourages me is the youth. This country is so young. And the millennial and the next generation, they are so adaptive to the new technologies. And also on one side, we have to fight with this environment issue. And without fighting with the environment issue, especially in Jakarta, there's the need for change. So again, I'm looking forward really to work with the government and also with the private sector. How can we really transform, and how can we part of transforming the environment and also the country going forward? And definitely the electric vehicle will be part of that transformation.
Okay, so Nissan is still very optimistic.
Very optimistic.
Okay.
Very optimistic.
Okay, that's really interesting. Thank you very much,
Thank you
Mr.
very much, Monica.
Sekiguchi. Now let's go and try the Nissan
Sure.
Leaf.
Thank you.
Baik, sekian wawancara eksklusif saya bersama Presiden Direktur dari Nissan Motor Indonesia, Isao Sekiguchi. CNBC Indonesia, Beyond Business.